everyone. I'm John Siemiatkoski, the Principal Solutions Architect for Engaging Networks. And when I think about this conference and all the trips I've had to Toronto since I've started with Engaging Networks 7 years ago, I remember those humble beginnings, Brandon, when it was you, me, and Graham doing a half-day ENCC over in Spadina. And the two of us walked across the street and got some poutine, and we got 2 bites of it, and then the conference hit, and then we were running sessions one after another. And I don't know, 5 o'clock, went back to that poutine, looked at it and said, nope, just pushed it in the trash. So I have had a little bit of poutine while I've been here. But what I want to share with you today is the roadmap. And this is, the process of the roadmap comes from a lot of input from clients, from partners, from our own team as well, to really refine what we want to try to accomplish in the product. And it's not just about specific features, it's also now about direction of the product. So where are we moving? What are some of the things we're considering inside the product? Ultimately, what we're trying to accomplish here is to have the best product in the market. And in some places, catch up to some of our competitors, particularly in the peer-to-peer realm. And in others, we're trying to stay ahead of where we are with a lot of our competing tools. So the way the product roadmap breaks down this year, there are 3 primary initiatives across the roadmap. The first one being the marketing tools. Now, you've already seen the initial delivery of that back in February with the new marketing tools launch. Coming up next week, I think, is our next release. We'll be adding in some foldering and some other features in there. So it's going to be a constant iterative process on marketing tools to constantly add more functions within there. Oops, sorry, wrong way. And I'll say more about some of the specific marketing tools functions coming up. With peer-to-peer, we had a peer-to-peer 1.0 product. Does anybody remember that one? It was feature poor, shall we say. So we retired it, I think, back in 2014, 15. That's actually what brought me to Engaging Networks. We're looking for better peer-to-peer tools when I was at the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. And the more I learned about Engaging Networks, the more I liked, so I left Dana-Farber and came to work for Engaging Networks. The current tool we had, which was built in partnership with the Zurich Group. Great product, raising tons of money for our clients, but we reached a point where in order to continue to develop on the platform, we really needed to bring it into Page Builder because we had a separation of technologies between Java and PHP in the platform, and just we had to do everything twice, basically. So we had to do some payment issues for some of the EU payment requirements. That kind of stalled us on the process. So that's just one of many reasons why we're bringing it into Page Builder with a whole new interface on top of it. And then the report builder, and as Clint mentioned, what we're trying to do there is trying to normalize the data. Try to make it easier so you don't have to get out the magic decoder ring or the Rosetta Stone to figure out what's in our transactional data export. We are looking to bring in some of the AI learning into the rest of the platform. We've had 2.5 years of great success on the Accessible Intelligence product, doing 866% higher conversion of one-time donors to recurring donors for the Rainforest Action Network. And we wanted to leverage that learning and bring some of those tools into the main platform. With profiles, we want to look to deepen that engagement, give you more filtering in there, easier to use filtering rather than laying it out as you currently do with that drop-down list that's just growing longer and longer with all the filters we put in there, just to try to make it a little bit easier and also run them at other frequencies. And then with marketing automation, we're going to reskin marketing automation so that nice new builder, that block builder you see in marketing tools, that's going to show up in marketing automation, along with some other restructuring of the marketing automation tool. Some other notable things we're going to do along the way, in the supporter hub, there is the donations gadget, which allows your supporter to change the payment method or upsell that current recurring gift. And I'm saying gift singular. Well, we're going to go gift plural here because there are many organizations for whom you have supporters who actually have more than one recurring payment series. And so we're going to bring that in there. It's actually in test already. We were playing around with it the other day. Looks pretty good. So when you click on, if you do have multiple recurring gifts, you get a choice as to which one you want to manage, and then go in and manage it. So to update the payments or or increase, update the credit card information, or move up the payment. Also being able to change payment method from, say, credit card to bank payment. That's a great conversion strategy. You're going to get less processing fees from your credit card processor in doing that. So a couple of those things we're going to bring in that. The next item in the middle of the screen here pertains more to U.S. clients than anybody, since it's an integration to regulations.gov, which is one of the U.S. federal government rulemaking comment sites. However, being able to do that leads us into places where we can apply that in other places. So if there are, this is basically a form site that the federal government has for comments on particular dockets, as they call them. We had used a third-party tool to crack that, but we had to pass that cost along to our clients. And Graham said a year or two ago, well, if they can do it, why can't we do it? So the dev team figured it out, and we've now cracked regulations.gov. And so it's going to open up the door to more opportunities within advocacy within the platform. For anyone using Salesforce as your database of record, show of hands here. Okay, just a few. Okay, great. There will be some package updates along with in Salesforce, improving some of the duplicate handling between the two platforms, as well as getting into the App Exchange, finally going through that whole lengthy process with Salesforce to get in the App Exchange to open up some more doors for us. Gift tracking on designations. So this is all about multiple designations. This is something we hear from the university sector, we hear it from the hospital sector all the time, that somebody wants to make a large donation, but split that up over multiple gift designations. So if you're a hospital, maybe they want to give $500 towards cardiac care, and they want to give $1,000 towards cancer care, and $500 somewhere else, but make one single payment and just select those options on there. So that's the plan for multiple gift designations. We're also going to get into the Meta Conversion API, allow you to easier path to do that. You have to do a bunch of JavaScript right now to get some of that stuff. And we'll talk a little bit more specifically about some of the marketing tool efforts here. As you may have seen in the platform, and if you haven't, get in there and look at the new marketing tools and listen to some of the videos and webinars that we recorded. You now have email and SMS in the same builder within the tool for broadcast messaging, not just marketing automation. And that new builder focuses on blocks. That we have some pre-built templates for you within the platform. And what we're going to be doing within here is we're going to improve the builder tools further to make it easier to help you convert your email templates that you're currently using in Email Classic, convert them for use in the marketing tools, because you do need a new template, because it's a whole block builder, a whole bunch of CSS classes that are different in there in order to make it all work that easily. Other things in here, there's currently, when you go into the block library, there's both a default block library and then your own custom. There'll also be a personal block store, so they'll be restricted by permission. So some of your team members can get to some of the blocks, some of them can't. So it allows you to further refine who can do what in terms of creating and modifying the messages. So start with a template where you've got a couple of blocks laid out, but then there might be times where you want to insert a custom block, like maybe a countdown timer for Giving Tuesday, those kinds of things. Have those custom blocks in there, but not available to everyone. Only you can, with permissions, you'll be able to do that. Coming in the next release, which I believe is next week. It was going to be last week, but I think we've moved it. In organization, if you go into marketing tools now, you're not going to see any foldering or tagging in there. Well, give it a week or so, and you will, because that is coming for deployment very soon. We are going to also move to SMS autoresponders. So think about this. Your donor is giving on their mobile device. You may have sent a text message to them to solicit that donation. So if you're going to say thank you, do you really want to send an email to that person? Because no, they replied. They started on text. Let's stick with text as the autoresponder. So that is coming this year in the platform. The builder tools I mentioned already. Again, that's going to help you more easily convert your existing templates and just build new templates as well. Just make it a little bit simpler, because you currently does require some HTML, CSS understanding to do that inside the platform. Again, at the marketing tools, we're going to bring in some of that smart list functionality to identify supporters who might be likely for conversion. So we're doing some additional data sorting for you to identify who those supporters are in terms of most recent donation, those types of things, to bring that into marketing tools. Also coming later this year, this is planned for sometime Q3, Q4. Now, if you're sending SMS to people, what happens when they reply? Well, currently you have to go into your Twilio account and manage it from there. Well, there's going to be a new dashboard within your Engaging Networks account. So as each one of your supporters reply to your SMS, you can then have that one-on-one conversation with them right from your Engaging Networks dashboard. And it's filtered by individual, so you can see all the messages they sent, so you can carry on that conversation with your supporter to engage them further and provide links back to maybe a donation page or an advocacy page where they might take action. You'll also be able to do a lot more of that with keyword. You can already do a lot of that with keyword responses. The scavenger hunt we're running is actually using the SMS tools in the platform to give you the experience of sending a text, getting something back, and now think about applying that to your supporters. That's the idea behind the scavenger hunt. Other things we're looking to do is donation abandonment. So you can already do this to some degree with marketing automation. If you send a message to someone in marketing automation and they don't make a donation on that little list of conditions, send them another message. Well, doing this from broadcast as well, trying to look at how we can, and also potentially get at generic page visits, organic page visits. If somebody comes to the page and abandons the page, being able to then grab some of that information, add into your account, GDPR aside, to be able to do that to help engage those supporters. In marketing automation, many of the automations, you cannot allow someone to re-enter the automation. Like think about membership renewals. You actually can't re-enter those. It was the way it was by design. There was a good reason behind it. Well, we're now going to amend that and give you some ability to allow supporters to re-enter the automation. So the automation will specify if people can re-enter it. So that way you don't have to create another one for your next round of membership renewals and another one. And I see Brandon nodding because he's brought this up. Thanks for the suggestion. See, the power of suggestion works. And again, the new template integration so on to reporting. So with reporting, again, you have to, you get those 35 columns of data with those generic headers like campaign data 1, campaign data 2, and like what in the heck does that mean? Okay, yeah, there is a way you can customize the headers when you export one specific type of transaction, but then those headers are there for all of them. It's so annoying. This will allow you. This will then grab your tagged your field name, not just our tag name. So grab your field name so you can decipher, and I think we're talking about a slider there of I want to look at the Engaging Networks tag or our own personal field name. Because as you know, in your account data structure, you can customize that. And then allow you to pull only the fields you want to in your export. So instead of getting that 35 column matrix plus all the other fields around it, and then your supporter data off to the other side of the spreadsheet, just focus in on the data you want. So you pick and choose which fields. So this is going to start design over the summer. So there will be a lot of opportunity for input. So please be thinking about how can we make reporting better and bring us your use cases. So we want to solve for those use cases. That's what it's all about. Yeah, let's see. Also with that, we're going to pull in some fields which are currently not exposed in the export, such as email engagement score, highest previous contribution, most recent contribution. Those are values we score in the platform, and origin source. All will now be available in reporting. So a lot of that, and I also think first donation, last donation, we actually track that as well. There's a whole bunch of metadata that we have on the supporters that we just don't expose either in the dashboards or in the reports, but now we will. So if there's ones there that are of particular interest to you, again, please bring those suggestions forward. there will be a whole bunch of sample reports in there as well. So you will not be just custom report builder. You having to figure it all out. There'll be a whole bunch. And this, again, is where that commonality, as we get all the input from you guys, then we're going to build out some of those reports as common reports. So that way you all have access to them. And certainly then be able to take those and customize for your own needs. We recognize that a lot of clients are using tools like Google Data Studio to take in multiple sources of reporting, maybe your offline donation from your CRM, put it all into some nice reporting tools. Ultimately, all this is going to make it then easier to get that data into tools like Google Data Studio, Tableau, et cetera, and also allow you to automatically pull down from visual reports. So where you're seeing a visual report, actually pull down the raw data behind it as to, if you're looking at number of donations over time in the visual reports, actually be able to click on that and then get the list of the donors instead of having to go back out and create a query to get that list. So just trying to make that path a little bit simpler in that. So, and ultimately what we're trying to do here is alleviate the learning curve around understanding our data structure, because if you don't understand our data structure, you're never going to be able to figure out reporting currently. So that is the plan to make that work. And there'll also be some wins in visual reports. Peer-to-peer. I'm part of this project since most of my fundraising background for all the organizations I work for has been all 90% peer-to-peer. And so we've had a lot of great listening sessions, looking at Michael back there, and others for all the great information, and we'll be reaching out to more of you along the way and providing more opportunities. And timeline on this, as you probably want to know, we already have a working model of it in one of our test environments that we're playing with. It is not available to clients yet. The first milestone will be June. We're going to have an alpha release in June. Alpha release intended for one client only, that being the World Wildlife Fund in the U.S. There's a lot of contractual requirements. That's a really sizable deal for us. And they're our first, well, I guess World Wildlife Fund, I can't say they're our first guinea pig now, can I? I shouldn't. But they're providing a lot of input. Now there will be opportunities then in beta to add in more of you into the beta program. So, and we're really looking for those of you who have been using the current peer-to-peer tools. That's our primary use case to see where we can get you into beta. We anticipate beta sometimes October perhaps, and then commercial release January of 24. So new clients will be able to move on. Now, this is somewhat negotiable. So if you have interest in this area, we'll let you know how to, we will undoubtedly be contacting you, because we know who some of you are anyway. But if you do have interest, please let me know. We're basically rebuilding the platform. We're rebuilding it into the page builder tool. So no separate, so for any of you who use peer-to-peer now, you create content for your donation pages in Page Builder using one set of tools. When you go to create content in peer-to-peer currently, it's completely different. So no sharing of those resources. Well, it's all going to move into Page Builder, take advantage of those resources, but also have an easier workflow. So if you're seeing some of the animation here, more icon driven, and the icons will indicate what things you have to do next. So allow you to start that process of building a new site, come back in iterative process on building out your site. There will be a new builder also for creating the forms in the platform as well, and the forms will actually allow you. So anybody who runs peer-to-peer events, you probably know you're probably thinking that long list of questions you want to ask your supporter at time of registration. Some forms have 50, 60 fields that they want to ask, because there's a lot of that information that's necessary for that particular event. Well, being able to organize that better, but also make some of it tell you later. So being able to then just separate parts of the form, that registration form, so that way you're not getting the higher, when you create 50, 60 fields, you're going to get higher abandon of your registration process. So this will allow you to decide what parts of registration you want somebody to fill out later. So get them registered, get them fundraising, then come back and ask them all the details. What's your split time for the marathon? What's your training location? All those extra things that you ultimately want to ask somebody. Or housing if you're doing a multi-day bike ride kind of thing. Those things can come after. The fundraiser dashboard there will be right now it's just one style of a fundraiser dashboard in the platform there's some ability to modify that a bit, but you'll be able to design your own. We're gonna have a couple of samples in there. We're actually looking at our partners to help with some of that design effort, but ultimately be able to have you design your own, pulling in different gadgets. So there'll be a lot of drag and drop in the builder. You're also seeing some rewards functions. That's actually a requirement that World Wildlife Fund presented to us. They do incentive rewards. So if somebody raises $500, then they are eligible for some prize and they go and redeem. So yes, that's part of Alpha to get that out this year. So there's going to be a lot of new stuff coming with peer-to-peer. There will be some integrations. We're actually hoping to move some of this integration work off onto partners. There are a couple of app partners like Nucleus and Charity Dynamics that we're pretty excited about, that they already have the integrations of things like Strava and Map My Run and those kinds of things. And so we're looking that we might look in that direction to leverage the integrations they have. We're currently in a holding pattern with Facebook or Meta. And I've, as always said when developing for stuff for Facebook, it's just Facebook being Facebook, just being a real pain. So we do not yet have the Facebook fundraiser integration, but we are on the path to get there. So where does all this lead? So there will be focus groups where there will be open feedback opportunities, and we've got Dan put out a little bit of a calendar here. So we're April's gone already. He actually has on here May for reporting. So yeah, bring up those reporting ideas. We'll let you know. You'll be communication to you on when these opportunities are. Then we're going to talk about things like designation tracking, SMS, peer-to-peer, Salesforce, advocacy. We do not want to forget advocacy in the platform. After all, it was where we started, where Graham started the company as Advocacy Online 23 years ago was the name of the company. We want to, in 2024, potentially rethink advocacy. Some of the things we're thinking on that front are for, say, email to target messages. Instead of your MP getting 500 individual messages from 500 of your supporters, instead grouping those messages together for bulk delivery. So your supporter takes action, puts their comments on, but then group it together. And another group that is very important, if you are an Engaging Networks ambassador, can you please raise your hand if you want to own up to it? So our ambassadors are it's a new program that the client success team has developed. So talk to your client success manager about that program. And they are a great resource because they've been in the platform for many years and giving us a lot of input. So those are our clients and some partners as well in the ambassador program. So that is a look at the roadmap. So Ben, do we have time? Yeah, cool. And you've got some questions already.
Thanks, John. So you can use your mobile device if you didn't already. So as we have a hybrid conference, we try and make sure that everybody gets to participate. So if you can just ask your questions, you can just take a screenshot of that. It's also kind of around the room, and that will be able to let you ask some questions. So we do have some kind of coming here on Slido, so I will stall as other people get time to do it. But for the most part, John, I know one of the things that we've gotten some feedback on when it comes to the marketing tools, that just rolled out, was around the creation of those and kind of the steps that we took to create that product. And could you talk about that for a second?
Yeah, there was a beta program for there were, I think, there were 15 clients involved in that who were actively using the tools, and getting that input from direct users is essential. What Dan and the dev team have really focused on, particularly with our peer-to-peer tools as well, we've created different personas of the types of users that are out there. So we want to, and the reason we do this is that we can then design the software towards an empathetic user. So we can as we design it, we understand how you work in the product, and therefore be able to make the tools more relative to how you're going to use them. And look for all those not just the pain points, but the little annoying things in software where maybe there's I've got my list of annoyances in the product and in personal life as well, but we won't go there. We don't have all day for that. Things like where there isn't a search box, like in a drop-down list of fields. So there's some places where we've noted that. I immediately stick a Jira ticket in whenever I come across one of those on the platform. Because if it annoys me, it's probably annoying you too. So we're looking out for you.
So first question coming in here. When will we be able to use SMS marketing tools in Canada?
We currently can.
Right now?
Yes. Yeah,
right now would be the answer to that. Right now.
Yeah.
You can do it right now. You can, if you need any help with that, you can talk to your account success manager. They can get you set up. What you're going to end up doing is you're going to go through Twilio. You'll get your long code, you get your short code, kind of whatever route you want to go, and then they will be able to get you set up there. Sam Lauk, who I think a lot of you know from her role as on the Tier 1 support team. She has a brand new fancy role. She's the Director of Client Success Operations, but she's here today. She is going to do a product workshop with you all, walking through SMS tools. So she was pointing to me from the back of the room, reminding me that she is doing that. So thank you, Sam, for that. Next one. Regarding the new marketing tools, is there a plan to allow A/B testing with conditional content at the same time? Right now, we must choose one or the other.
Yeah, it's definitely in the plan. It's not in there yet. There's only so much you can do to get a product out for initial release. So there's some things that have to hit the cutting room floor, unfortunately, but it is coming. So if you attempt it now, you're going to get an error message, but that is coming.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where historically, if you wanted to do conditional content, you had to build separate emails each time, and so this allows you to do in-message conditional content. And we were able to get that rolled out as part of the first release, but what we couldn't roll out was the ability to also split test all of that. But it is coming, so we will be there soon, I think. Sooner rather than later.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
As far as peer-to-peer V3, it's been baking for quite a while. What is something that you feel like is going to put it in a position to allow our clients to be really successful?
Several things. First of all, being able to offer multiple payment options on a peer-to-peer donation page. Currently, it's just credit card, but you'll be able to offer all the same things you do in Page Builder. So that includes PayPal, which is PayPal One Touch, and Venmo now as well. Apple Pay, Google Pay through Stripe, and we're actually going to be integrating with this one I should have said on the roadmap, a new donor-advised fund platform. So I know in lots of the peer-to-peer events in the Boston area where I live, and so if you're lamenting the Leafs loss last night, well, we ruined a great season in Boston. Anyway, but a lot of the peer-to-peer events there, like some of the large rides for cancer in the Boston area, a lot of those donations come in through donor-advised funds because a lot of people put their money aside in a donor-advised fund and then distribute it when their friends say ride in the event or whatever the case is. So that'll come in there as well. So, and of course, being here in Canada, I would be remiss if I did not mention multiple language peer-to-peer sites. So currently, you have to create one in English, another one in French, and then they never shall the twain meet until we bring it into Page Builder. So that is coming. So I think there's a whole bunch. I could spend all day talking about it, but those, to me, are the standouts.
Because it'll leverage localization.
Exactly.
The same tool you use right now to have your pages appear in multiple languages, peer-to-peer will just work in that same way. So we got about a minute. I'm just going to run through some rapid-fire questions. How will you decide which orgs will participate in beta testing for the new peer-to-peer 3.0?
Yeah, we're going to look at you want to have a conversation with you, and it's likely just by you saying you want to be in, you're going to be in. There's no secret process here. It's just we want to make sure that you're going to give us feedback. If you are not yet using our peer-to-peer tools, well, that might be a strike against, but not out of the realm of possibilities.
Totally.
We want people who already understand the product already.
Yeah, and importantly, we also know if we think you're a good peer-to-peer beta tester. So if you're interested in it, talk to your account success manager. They'd be love to help you. Last question, is it possible to implement personalization in the SMS auto-responses?
Yeah, it will be. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because
user information.
what good's an autoresponder if you don't personalize it?
Yeah. That is it for questions. That's it for time. John, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.